Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're still on the Polity, and if you just joined us, you've not missed too much. We've gotten to the part where we get to bring our guest on the program, and today I'm not alone, and I am not too either. And today I have Dr. Lanre Oluwaniyi to my left. That's an APC chieftain. And today for the topic we'll be analyzing Adamawa Guba polls. And to my right we have Barrister to my right. Please welcome to the program, Barrister Ehidiamen.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, welcome, Doctor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to see you again. And I'd like to start with one of the biggest story for today, and that's coming from Vanguard newspaper. It says Buhari Hoke suspension of Adamawa REC prosecution if INEC denies meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig polls. And of course, we've known that after the supplementary election that has happened a few days back, there's been a lot of ruckus on the political scene. Yeah, of course, there's been a lot of back and forth. So I'll throw you to Dr. Oluwaniyi first. What's your take on this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a good step in a good direction.
Okay.
Because the whole country has already been talking about this issue for the past few days. So what is not good is not good, especially because of our democracy.
Yeah.
Because institution is bigger than one person. And if you allow impunity to take place today, be rest assured that there is going to be repetition of it either now or future. So I believe President Muhammadu Buhari have taken cognizance that he is the only one that have the power, because he's the one that appoints. INEC does not have the power to suspend him or to do everything or to relieve him of his duty. It's the PNB himself that appoint them, and he has did the needful, and I believe the whole world have seen. So no matter what happens, no matter who you are not above an institution.
I like that. Now let's take that question to Barrister Destiny, your legal practitioner, from the amendment of the 2023 General Elections Electoral Act. I would like you to take us to that angle and show us what is supposed to happen and what shouldn't have been.
Okay, what had really happened in Adamawa is very, very shameful. I must say that first of all. But in relation to the suspension of the REC,
yes,
Buhari has the power to suspend that person, but the remover, he must seek the consent of the National Assembly, two-thirds of the National Assembly, for him to validly remove the REC in Adamawa. But he has the power to suspend, pending the removal. So suspension and removal are two different things. He has the power because he appoints on that section level of the application, section 6 of the Electoral Act. He appoints, and he can also suspend, but not remove. If he wants to remove, he should go to the National Assembly before the person can be validly removed as REC.
Okay, before I move forward, I'd like to tell our viewers at home that our phone is open to, of course, take your call, and of course you join in on the conversation. And I like the fact that you said he has the power to suspend, not remove. Now, if we're going to take into consideration that May 29th is close by, how long do you think it's going to take for him to, of course, push this to the National Assembly and then going back and then putting in the Electoral Act into this? How does this affect the REC himself?
Okay, I want to, as far as he has been suspended, he ceases to act on behalf of or do any activity on behalf of INEC. You understand? But now, in this case, now since the National Assembly they are not sitting, so because the politicking is going on for who will be the leaders of the 10th National Assembly, maybe there may not be time for him to validly remove the REC. But once a REC is appointed, he has a term of 5 years, which is renewable for another 5 years. But since he has been suspended now, the best thing for them to do is to go back to the National Assembly for him to be validly removed because of this embarrassing, his misconduct, the way it was trying to usurp democracy. So I think it's not, if they sit today, or if he can convene the National Assembly, persuade them to sit today, they will remove him by two-thirds majority of the vote.
Okay, I see still on Adamawa. There's this thing on Vanguard still. INEC denies meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig polls. And of course, we know the Electoral Act is of course against all of this back and forth. Yeah. So before I move to Dr. Oluwaniyi, I would like to get your own general overview on this particular issue.
Okay, well, I'm not a politician. I'm not allowed to speculate. But what I can deduce from the fact, any person who declare a false result, that person is commit an offense, which is punishable under the Electoral Act. So what I cannot say I cannot judge him based on what I say on television. But anybody who announces fake result, that person can be prosecuted under the Electoral Act.
Okay, thank you. It's safe to call you a politician, sir. So what's your own take on this particular issue?
You know, it's a tussle for power.
Okay.
So you expect all manner of attacks and counterattacks, which is a normal thing in a political terrain. Now, the other party is accusing the PDP that they are having a meeting with INEC officials. And one thing I want us to remember is that Senator Aisha Bilani, she complained in the first ballot that took place that his votes were suppressed in some area. Now, nobody bothered to look into this before they finished the first ballot. But as it is now, whether both of them like it or not, the case will move to tribunal.
Definitely, yes.
And when they move to tribunal, either attacks or counter allegation, it will be all come to bear and with substantial evidence. So I cannot just sit down here and said the meeting with INEC official is truth or not. I can't do that. If I do that, it's more or less like, do I have evidence
to show?
To show. Am I sure? The other party too allege Binani that he paid 2 billion to the REC, to the suspended REC. Now she came out and debunked it. So that is a normal thing in our political terrain.
But if you're saying it's a normal thing in our political terrain, we will agree that we run a democratic system of government, and it is not normal for you've been assigned a duty. You shouldn't go outside your let's use the Gen Z word, job description, and then come out and do what you are not supposed to do. It was not his place, of course, to come out and declare.
I'm not talking about the right that is a normal thing for him to do.
Okay.
I'm talking about the allegation and counter allegation. There is a propaganda warfare in politics. It's happened on presidential as we are talking now. People came out with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Guinea passport. And I asked the people that are, even to the extent that some mainstream medias have the guts to even entertain such thing on their media.
I like you to speak on that. I like the fact that you took us down.
Are you getting me? Yes. The propaganda. You know why? The password you are talking, the sample of password you are talking about, I challenge them. They should provide the full page.
But the full page was provided.
They just provided a data page, which is not full because I'm living abroad. I know what it goes. If you want to get 10 of it, I will tell you where you get it in the city of Johannesburg. So they can only be fooling people that are not well exposed. That's the truth. If Johannesburg is even far, go to Oluwaniyi in Lagos. Yes. So we are privileged to be in different countries, and we knew about all these things. We knew about fake passport. We knew about it. We knew about. That's why I challenged them in one of these. Get me a full copy, the full page, paper page. When you get me a paper page, let's subject it to investigation if it's genuine or fake. Then we are in a society whereby they just throw out something to the public. People don't even criticize. They don't even think about it. They started a media that you expect them to be above board. They start only with the such story. Is that not propaganda? Come on. If Asiwaju want to even have the dual citizenship, it's not even, I'm sorry, with all sorts of humility, it's not a Guinea as a country. If you say you have a citizenship of America or Britain, I would have even said, okay, probably it's true or not. But I'm sorry. That's how
what does this mean for if a president, of course, you know, you're not supposed to have multiple, you know what. So what are the things that are actually going to happen if the reverse was the case, if this was actually true?
Okay. Like I said, I'm not a politician.
Yeah, you are not
just to look at facts on the scale of law. Yes. We must test it on the scale of law.
Okay.
So, like in this instance, the purported Guinea passport,
yes.
It was showed on somebody's Twitter's page. What the law says that normally the law allows you to have dual citizen. That's section 28 of the 1999 Constitution. Okay. Then section 137 of the 1999 Constitution say once you have dual citizenship, you automatically disqualify. But the question is, when person voluntarily acquire dual citizenship, I'm just looking at if a diplomatic passport is issued to you, is it voluntary? Of course, it's not voluntary. Those are the part that the question we look at. And there's this case, the case of PDP against Basim. The court even said that even though if you have dual citizenship, it's not a ground for you to be disqualified from contesting an election. That's just the law.
Okay, you've heard that. And I'd like us to quickly read this story. The Independent National Electoral Commission has denied meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig the supplementary governorship election in the state. That is all I'm going to take for this particular story. But then, Dr. Oluwaniyi, let's take it from whatever gave a rec the guts to actually come out and declare someone the winner of the gubernatorial elections without going or following through the due process. What do you think would like
if we want to be realistic to ourselves, I am not supporting the conduct.
Okay.
I'm not supporting any form of illegality.
Okay.
But I'm a very virtual person and realistic person.
Okay.
I don't reason things the way people thought, because I'm a critical analyst.
Okay.
Now, there is something that preceded that action. With that, you can't just come up with an action if there is not something on the ground.
Okay.
I'm not privileged to be in Adamawa, and I'm not privileged to know many of things that are going on. But I can easily tell you that woman has been suppressed.
Are you saying this based on the fact that you're an APC member?
No, not because
based that you are
I'm part of I'm a citizen of Nigeria.
Okay.
Before I can become an APC member.
APC member, all right.
I've said it. I've made my stand. I'm not supporting the action.
Okay.
I'm not supporting any form of illegality. The question you ask is, what do I think can lead to such action? Definitely, there is an action that have already taken place somewhere. That other people too want to quickly do what? Want to quickly take another revenge action. It's wrong. I agree with you. I'm not supporting it.
Okay.
Are you getting it? But what I'm saying is that we should not be too carried away. I know it's bad action, but this is a woman that is involved. She knew what she has passed through in the first ballot.
But that's not enough. That's
not enough. Right. It's not. She's not the one that did it.
Okay.
It's the rec that did it.
The rec did it.
Yes, I don't know why the rec did it.
I like the fact that you mentioned that the rec did it. The rec did it. They always say for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
The rec did something wrong, and then you came out to make a speech.
If you are the politician, if you are the one that will declare that you are a winner, won't you go out and make a speech? I'm not a winner.
If the winning does not, of course, follow the case of the court, then you do the law. It wasn't part of the electoral. Hold on, before you guys answer, let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, the policy will continue.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've missed too much, but nevertheless we'll move on. And now we've gotten to the nitty-gritty of today's program, where we talk about before we went to the break, we're talking about the Adamawa supplementary election. And to my left is Dr. Oluwaniyi, and to my right is Barrister Bright. Barrister Bright, you had something to tell Barrister Destiny, I beg your pardon. Yes, you had something to tell our people before we went on the break. I'd like you to take it from there.
Okay. What I was even discussing is that the act of the rec declaring result is a violation of the oath of neutrality he took.
Okay.
And that's against section 26. And by that conduct, the REC official is liable to so many years imprisonment, 36 months, and a fine for doing such, announcing result when he's not legally saddled with that responsibility to announce the result. So the act of the REC need to be investigated, and of course, let me speak like he need to be prosecuted for doing such an act capable of putting our democracy in a precarious position. So I think the INEC person, it should be suspended and also investigated.
And if you're saying investigation, that brings us to the 2 billion naira accusations they've made. You say if you don't want to be pushed into the river, you don't walk on the brink of a river. Now, bringing this now, a REC coming to announce the senator as the winner, doesn't it imply that they actually paid them that said amount for them to declare her the winner?
No, it doesn't really mean.
Okay.
Yes, people don't know that. That's why I said that we don't know what has been happening in that state in previous weeks and previous days. And most of those guys, REC has been in Adamawa maybe for almost 2-3 years. He might have a soft spot for a particular candidate. And that is the reason why they make sure that when election is approaching, they don't allow REC to declare the election. That is why the umpire release a returning officer, because they know that there is tendency for you to have a soft spot or have your own during your stay in that state. So it's not everything money. I'm not disputing that. It is subject to investigation. I get in, if you find guilty, it should face the wrath of the law. But this is what I'm saying. This is an angle that people don't understand. I'm not supporting the act, but I'm saying that we don't look at what can happen, like with the question you asked, for Benani, Senator Benani, or let me put it for you, for a camp to go that astray. Let me put it that way. Something is already happening that they cannot voice out. But she took it out of proportion. She's supposed to, she's a member of the House of Rep, member of the Senate. She's supposed to know as a Democrat, no matter how it is, you should not blow it out of proportion, and you should be able to sustain your emotion and make sure that, because it's not for today. What we are doing is not for today, it's for the future reference. Okay,
so you've agreed that was quite undemocratic.
It's quite undemocratic. Nobody that no reasonable Democrat will support such illegality, because it can become the same thing can happen to me tomorrow. I can be a victim of such thing tomorrow. So how will I talk? Yes, as a politician, I can be a victim of it tomorrow. So what ground will I be able to be talking at that time? So, but what I'm saying is that in a human perspective, what has happened? We don't know we don't know things that these other opposition, the PDP people, because we got some underground information which we are not privileged to be saying on live program like this. I won't deceive you, I was in Lagos during the first ballot. We are asked, because we are asked to move from Lagos immediately and take a flight to Adamawa because of some information we gather, which I'm not privileged to be saying it, because of the power that be in Adamawa. They were keenly and tactically want to make sure that this woman, she did not get the.
But you have to realize that everything that happened is not just because she's a woman. If she had gone by the right way, I mean, let the law take its course.
They are already going to tribunal, so let's see what will happen.
Okay, so speaking of tribunal,
so we don't need to talk much whether she's robbed or she. Are you getting it? They're already going to tribunal.
Okay, now let's move to the Electoral Act. Is there any legal implication for the said senator in this case? Is there any legal implication coming from the Electoral Act as amended?
Legal case, like
legal implication for her being declared the winner.
Be declared the winner.
Yes.
Yes, there's no legal implication.
Okay.
The fact that when she was declared, the commission, imbued with the power under section 65 of the Electoral Act, overruled by the virtue of the reviewing that decision.
Okay.
They said that since the collation is still inchoate, is still at the nascent stage. They have not reached the conclusion. So the best thing, this result that was unlawfully declared by this electoral, rec, who does not have the legal responsibility of doing such, is invalid. Let's conclude the collation process, which to be declared by the returning officer under section 6.5. So there is no legal implication. It's just a mere charade melodrama.
Okay. I like that.
But let me just a little bit leave the law. But something must have prepared that man to do such a thing and announce fake result. You know, that's why I'm saying it must be investigated. You know, so what actually prepared him? Is it financial inducement, or is it affection for the lady, or the person is not neutral? Those are the things we need to investigate.
And as a rec, you're supposed to be neutral.
That's the oath.
That's
the oath he took under section 26 of the Electoral Act, to be neutral. You know, the oath of not be partisan to a political party. Because if the person is not disciplined, such a brazen act will continue in this Nigeria society if he's not disciplined, prosecuted, suspended, and faced with the brunt of the law.
Okay, but do you think this is actually going to happen anytime soon with the Senate not on seat right now?
No, this prosecuting him under section, I think section 145.
Okay.
It does not have anything to do with the Senate.
Okay.
I have said that the president can suspend him, but he cannot remove him. Suspension is a step closer to removal. It can be suspended, and the police or INEC can prosecute it. INEC has the power to prosecute people for electoral offences. Even the police, the EFCC, police in Osaron against police, police can prosecute. Okay, the man can be prosecuted even without reaching the National House of Assembly.
Okay. All right. I like that angle you brought it from, and now I like to take this from the Daily Times newspaper for today. There's this key card that reads, Falana to EFCC interrogates Binani over 2 billion naira election bribery allegation. Falana to EFCC interrogate Binani over 2 billion naira election bribery allegation. So we're going to take 2 questions in one, and then still on the Daily Times, Defense Headquarters speaks on rumored massive terrorism after May 29th. And Doctor, what is your general take on? Of course, the governor of Kaduna has come out to say he said a lot about people planning against the May 29th inauguration. So what is your general overview on this? And then Falana telling EFCC to interrogate Binani over the 2 billion naira allegation fraud.
Well, it's a normal thing as a right activist.
Okay.
Yes, it's a normal thing to write a letter to the institution that shadow with such responsibility.
Okay.
We should not act on mere rumor.
Okay.
So they should switch into action and investigate that. They have all the power and apparatus to do that. So which is a welcome idea. It's a welcome idea. And on May 29, yes, the reason why they are empowered, they are privileged to some security report that we are not privileged.
Okay.
So and when they got such report, it's their responsibility to be proactive and not just to tell us what is going to happen. Not like you just tell us we got information bandit is coming to social place, and what do you do to stop the bandit? So I'm not interested at times to hear that we got information. Which information? We need proactive action.
Okay.
Not telling us some people are planning May 29. If they plan May 29, they can do swearing in Aso Rock. Is there anywhere in the law, barrister, that they said they should do swearing in Igbo?
No, there's no.
That is not law. So if you feel that there are a lot of act of terrorism that want to take place that day, it doesn't matter. Just cause the CGA.
Very correct.
I mean, actually, we just came into the Aso Rock, even have a very large ground in Aso Rock. And you do your thing in Aso Rock, and
you move on.
the country. Yes, everything moves on. So they should not come and give us any panic information. Yes, they are leaders, both at the governorship and any level. They should not come and give Nigerian public a kind of panic information. When you have such information, we don't even need to hear it.
Of course.
What you just need to do is go underground.
The military should actually take its course at that point.
And if you see that the way things is going, we may not likely able to suppress this the way the plan is. Okay, go to Aso Rock and do your showing. So they should not come and be. You know, we need to hit the ground running. Nigerians are complaining. Nigerians want change. Nigerians want to see result. Nigerians want no rhetorics this time around. Not like we got that information, but it is coming to Beniguari, and before we get there, no. Tell us, if you know you got the Telegram report, stop them before they kidnap our people. Stop them before they kill our people. So even Nigeria, not only me, Nigeria, you will see it in the outcome of the presidential election. You will see that Nigerians are like, we want a result, we don't want story. If you see security there, do something. Speaking
of we want results, we don't want story, I'd like to take us back to the presidential election, and speaking of IREV and beavers, and of course I'm sure the barrister would would bail us out on this issue. What's the difference between the IREV and beavers? I'm sure most of our viewers know, but coming from a barrister, that's one. Two, did INEC actually flaunt any of the electoral acts by not transmitting results in real time, and what are the implications for them?
You know, one of the fantastic innovation in our electoral act, that's 2022, is the introduction of smart card reader. Not just introduction, giving that legal backing, giving it a legal status under section 47. You know, before, and that beavers, it went a long way, you know, in solving some of the electoral insanity over voting in our system. If you check, there are some states, I don't want to measure them, there are some states they normally give out 1.5 million votes, but recently we are seeing them, they are bringing out 400,000. Something must have done the magic. You understand? Beavers is to check the authenticity, the veracity of a person voting in an election. The IRF is just like a website where you upload the result of okay, in respect of the second question, you know, one thing Nigeria Electoral Act have on is substantial compliance. If you look at section 60, section 50, which is the most important one, it talks about 60 is how they collect results. That 50 is who's to in determining what mode to be used in collating, in voting, collating, and announcement of result. That's section 60. While section 50 say INEC can determine. Under that law, which give INEC powers to do guidelines, in their own guideline, they say section 38 that they must upload results to IRF. But the question now comes is, what time did INEC upload this result to IRF? Because there is the particular word, in real time. The real times now. In real times now. You know, in common law, you say time is of essence. But now they are saying equity will not say because it must. If, for example, we are supposed to do something at 2 o'clock, and you are able to do it at 3 o'clock, equity can say, "Oh, we are still in order." But the common law can say, "Oh no, if it's 1 second past." Those are the issues before the tribunal to determine. But again, before you advise that there is a substantial non-compliance, which is not transmitting the results to the IRF, you must show that the result on the IRF is not different from the collated one. So if there are discrepancies, it behoves on you, the petitioner, to go to court, prove oral evidence that the result, the correct result is this one or is not in IRF. But another innovation in our electoral is section 137. Before you start calling people from different polling units to substantiate a particular result, the law says that if you bring the one on the IRF, that the IRF is correct, you don't need to start calling oral evidence. But in this Adeleke's case and Oyetola, because once the other party disputes even the result on the IRF, you must prove it by calling oral evidence, which means that session has been defeated by the virtue of this judgment, Oyetola and Adeleke. That's just the law. INEC, what I will say is that INEC comply to an extent. But it does depend on the court constrain that word, substantial compliance, under 1 section 35 of the
so I like that. That's good. And finally, now, do you think INEC complied to an extent, or they complied fully?
You know, my brother here have said it all.
Okay.
That we are just in a, I always said it, we are just in a society where rumors and fluke take place everywhere, and you see knowledge, and you begin to ask yourself, how do we come to this level? How the Nigerian society degenerate to this level? I won't talk because I'm a APC man. He has said it all. I've granted an interview on this after the election. I said the same thing. Let me tell you quickly. Beavers, people thought when you accredit and you vote, they thought maybe the voting you are voting is going to IRF. I lie.
Very correct,
sir. You have to take pictures.
Hold on. Because we need to educate the Nigerian citizens. They operate. You ask yourself, do you even go to school? Because BVAS means bimodal verification accreditation system. I don't know where I see where they will vote and it will be uploaded at the same time. They deceive them. I don't know, maybe it is the expert that deceive them.
So in a nutshell,
they did the right thing, but now Beavers did I don't want to go there. Beavers did a fantastically job.
Okay.
But on uploading, we are aware that they were attacking INEC server. And he has said it here. INEC have their prerogative on how to run their activities because the law empowered them to do so. And they say, well, we don't use RF now. Since you want to attack us, we will be using manual collation. And when we finish manual collation, we will upload what we read. So if you now go there, the question now is, have they seen contradicting result, the one from your party agent? Is it contradict with the one on the IRM? That is where the question lies. If it's not, tell the public. But you are now
I like the fact that both of you have agreed on one thing.
This is the best election so far. We are not deceiving ourselves in this country.
Okay, nice. And that's all we'll be able to take for today, Doctor. Thank you so much for coming to the program. And Barrister,
thank you for having me. My name is Barrister Ehidiamen.
My name is Dr. Lanre.
Okay, all right.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you very much. And that's all we'll be able to take on the Polity for today. And of course, this is where we bring the Polity to an end for this week. Do well to stay tuned on the Kaftan TV, 2 p.m. Mondays to Fridays for the Polity. I remain Messi Babajide. Bye.